In the past 6 months, I've made a lot of videos. So today I'm going to go through the questions that I get asked the most on my most viewed videos. Let's begin. Alright, so we're starting with my most viewed video, which is, can you read text from 15 meters away? This is the smallest text that a printer can print. And this is a camera that has one of the best zooms ever made. And today I'm going to see how far away I can get and still read this using this camera. So yeah, alright, first question. Doesn't Nikon P1000 have better zoom or something? So technically, yes, this is right. So the P1000 came out quite a few years later than the camera that I was testing. So it's definitely been a while since that camera was the best zoom ever made. And that's why I tried to use the language of this is one of the best zooms ever made, not this is the best zoom ever made. What is that sound effect? I hear it all the time. So I'm assuming you're talking about this sound here. And there's two comments I get about this sound effect on my videos. Number one, what is the sound effect? And number two, that I use it too much. And I am definitely guilty of using this sound effect way too much. I've put the link down in the description of that particular sound if you want to check it out. I feel like it is a bit kind of overused at the moment with a lot of YouTubers, so yeah, anyway. Hey bro, can I ask you which camera you're using for your videos? So I think I'll take this opportunity to show you all the gear that I use for my videos. So with all my equipment, I like to have it really compact, mainly because from filming so much, I kind of have a sore back. So I like to travel as light as possible. And this is my bag that I take everywhere for filming content and any filming situation. All right, so first thing it has is a shotgun microphone. I don't use this too much, but it's just like a backup. Here I have my Lav Mics, literally a brand new one in here. And that's because these Lav Mics kind of break all the time. So I just have one that I don't use just in case it does break. I then have my 50mm lens. I have my extension tubes, which if you've watched the latest videos, you know exactly what this is for. In the top here, I've got a spare SD card and SD card adapter. The top here, I've got a lens polarizer. So that's that. All right, so on the front, so this is a charging case for all my microphones. I've got cables, basically not used. These are just emergency cables. On the bottom, I've got my tripod. So this tripod is a bit of an expensive one. It's a carbon tripod, but this helps a lot because it's so light. I also have this tripod here, which I think you can see in frame. And this tripod is very steady, but it's also incredibly heavy. So I try to not take this wherever I go. And now to answer the question that you actually asked, and this is the camera. So it's an A7 III with a 16 to 35mm lens. It's honestly a pretty standard setup, but yeah, that's basically all my equipment. Also, I forgot, I've also got a gimbal. So this gimbal is the RSC2. Yeah, so that's my gimbal. All right, next question. I'm done with people holding the clip-on mic. Just clip it on already. We'll get an actual handheld mic. All right. I know I'm doing this at the moment. The reason that I hold this microphone up to my mouth, I'm doing it because it's actually a lot clearer to have the microphone up here than it is down here. So as an example, this is what the microphone sounds like holding it up to my mouth. And this is what the microphone sounds like if it's clipped onto my shirt. All right, on to the next video. Today, I'm making a Doctor Strange portal using steel wool and a bit of Photoshop. Allow me to explain. You see, if you burn steel wool, it looks like this, and photographers have been using this technique to create some pretty cool photos like this for years now. So today, I'm going to attempt this, and then I'm going to bring it back into Photoshop to make it look like a real portal. Alright, so question one, what do you use to hold the steel wool? Usually when I do steel wool photography, I use a whisk, but I was wondering if you had a smarter idea. So I think it's pretty standard that everyone uses a whisk because it can hold the steel wool and still let the sparks fly out. I also used a whisk in this video, but I made the mistake of using a plastic whisk the first time. I didn't show that in the video, but it basically just melted, so it gets pretty hot. Alright, what laptop are you using? So I'm using the MacBook Pro 16-inch 2021 version. So it's the one with the M1 chip with 16 gigabytes of memory. This is literally the only computer I have. I used to have a desktop, but this thing was exactly the same power, so I just sold that and I just use this now. Alright, next question, can you get burned by this material? So that mark right there, that's actually a burn from that video. So if you're gonna try this, please wear eyewear, wear a long sleeve shirt. I think what's better is probably a hoodie, that way you can also cover your head, because the metal does actually go into your hair and it can actually burn the top of your head. I got a bit of that as well, so there we go, pro tips. Alright, so under this video in particular, but also a lot of my videos, people are always asking for the type of music I'm using. So like literally this one, name of music, music when he was editing, music name. So if you want to find the music that I'm using, a lot of people tried using Shazam, which is normally an app that identifies music, but it doesn't really work when there's talking overlaid onto the music. So what you can do is go onto YouTube to MP3. You can paste my video into here. You can download the MP3, and if you look up AI voice remover and isolation or vocalremover.org, and you upload the MP3 file of my video into this website, so then I can separate a video that normally sounds like this. Today, I'm making a Doctor Strange portal using steel wool and a bit of Photoshop. Allow me to explain. And then I can separate it into the music. Today, I'm making a Doctor Strange a bit of Photoshop. Allow me to explain. And the vocals. Today, I'm making a Doctor Strange portal using steel wool and a bit of Photoshop. Allow me to explain. And if you Shazam the music here, then it'll be able to pick up the music. Alrighty, next video. In my last video, I put a stabilizer on a stabilizer to avoid this happening when I trip. It didn't work, and everyone was telling me it was because I needed 4-axis stabilization. So that's exactly what I did. Let me explain. Alright, question 1. Why does he call it a stabilizer rather than a gimbal? So for this video in particular, the reason I called it a stabilizer is because I wanted it to be understandable to people who aren't videographers, and I wasn't entirely sure if gimbal was a term that everybody understands, but I knew that the term stabilizer everyone would understand, or at least understand what that device does, so that's why I used the word stabilizer instead of gimbal. Use a chicken. Why are people talking about chickens? I'd say half the comments on this video are people trying to get me to get a chicken and put a camera on it. I reckon we could do it eventually, but I don't have access to a chicken. Alright, next question. Just hold it in flashlight mode. Okay. I'll grab my gimbal for this. So this is what the gimbal normally looks like, and you hold it like this and you kind of film like this, and flashlight mode is where you hold it like this. But even when you hold it like this, it still doesn't stop the up and down axis, but I do kind of understand why you'd think this would help it, because it does rotate a little bit. I think, to be honest, it would help a little bit, but you'd still get a little bump in that video. Next comment, love the comment that has Technoblade as profile picture. Wait, was that Technoblade? So when I make my videos, whenever there's an opportunity to show Technoblade or any Minecraft footage, I will, because I really like playing that game and I really like Technoblade. And I'm always talking about how I'm on the edge of making a Minecraft YouTube channel and just going all in on doing that and trying to become a Minecraft YouTuber, but it's normally as a joke, but I don't know, maybe one day we'll do it. Could be fun. Alright, next video, I tracked down a helium balloon with an air tag. I just put a tracker on a helium balloon to find out where it ends up when it flies away. Let me explain. First question, bro, why didn't you put the tracker inside the balloon? It's better than sticking the outside, the surface of the rubber. I knew that was probably the best way to do it, to put it inside the balloon, but to get it pumped up with helium, I needed to take it to a party shop, and when I asked them if I could put the air tag inside the balloon, they didn't really want to do that, so I was like, oh, it's fine, and then I just had to stick to the outside. So ideally that would have been the best situation, but they didn't want to do it, so I didn't really have a way of doing it without that. Did the AirTag location move? Because it might have passed an iPhone before landing. Okay, so I actually made a follow-up video to this, but 3 days after I posted that video, the AirTag moved to a recycling center. It's moved like 10 Ks from where it was like 5 days ago. Where did it go? Oh, no way. No way. It's at a recycling facility. Actually, you know what? We can track it now and see if it's moved. so it's still on my Find My app, but as you can see, no location found. So that's basically with a yo-yo. What editing software have you found useful, especially for shorts and TikTok? So for my editing, I use Premiere and After Effects, which I think is a bit overkill. The main things that I do with editing software is just adding cuts, adding music, and then subtitles. So whatever software you have access to, you basically have access to the same features that I use. I just use Premiere the most because I've been using it for about 8 years now. So I'm really used to the shortcuts in Premiere. I know how to use it and like edit really fast on it. For this tracking effect, I used After Effects, which is a bit more advanced. I normally don't use that very often, but because this was about a tracking effect, that's why I used After Effects in this particular video. How do you change the shutter speed of a video? So this is the shutter speed on the camera, and basically for my camera is you just sort of roll this up and then it brings up the shutter speed. If you're looking to do it on an iPhone, there's no inbuilt controls within iPhone to do that. So you need to download an app called Filmic Pro, which will give you control over the shutter speed and f-stop and ISO and all that kind of stuff, just like a camera. Cool, how to do this on a mobile phone, please do a tutorial. So I made a video on how to do it on CapCut. That would be this video here. It's a little bit complicated, so if you want to watch that video, the link's down below. Do you talk like this in real life? So the answer to this is basically yes, but I would consider myself a bit more of an introverted person, so I don't talk over the top all the time, but generally how I talk to the camera is pretty close to how I normally talk. Isn't it a Diablo? So, alright, here we go. Alright, so to give you a rundown, this isn't a Diablo, it's a modern yo-yo. So it does have the shape of a Diablo, but it's not a Diablo because the string is attached. I do understand why people think it's Diablo because at a first glance it does kind of look like that, but it's just like a normal yo-yo but just a bit wider. And it's just so when you do all these tricks that are a bit more intricate and a bit harder to do, you can land it easier, which you normally wouldn't be able to do if it was a traditional yo-yo with a really thin gap. Alright guys, that's the end of the video, basically answering all the questions. If you have any more questions that I haven't answered that you really want an answer to, drop them down below and I'll reply to them there. Thanks for watching.